Section 14 of Uncle Josh's Punkin Center Stories by Cal Stewart. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Philip Martin. Uncle Josh in Police Court.
I never was in a town in my life what had as many courthouses in it as New York has got. It just seemed to me like every judge in New York had a courthouse of his own, and most of them courthouses seemed to be alongside of some market house. There was the Jefferson Market Court and the Essex Market Court and several other courts and markets and courts I can't remember now. Well, I used to be Justice of the Peace down home at Punkin Center, and I was a little anxious to see how they handle law and justice in New York City. So one morning I went down to one of them courthouses, and there was more different kinds of people in there than I ever seen afore. There was all kinds of nationalities. Norwegians and Germans and Swedes, Hebrews and Scandinavians, Irish and colored folks, old and young, dirty and clean, good, bad, and worse. The judge, he was a-sottin' up on the bench and a-sayin', 10 days, $10. Geary Society, Foundling Asylum, case dismissed, bring in the next prisoner, and the Lord only knows what else. Well, some of the cases they tried in that courthouse made me snicker right out loud. They brought in a little Irish feller, and the judge said, "Prisoner, what is your name?" And the little Irish feller said, "Judge, your honor, my name is McGinnis, Patrick McGinnis." And the judge said, "Mr. McGinnis, what is your occupation?" And the little Irish feller said, "Judge, your honor, I am a sailor." The judge said, "Mr. McGinnis, you don't look to me as though you ever saw a ship in all your life." And the little Irish feller said, "Well, Judge, your honor, if I never saw a ship in me life, do you think I come over from Ireland in a wagon?" The judge said, "Case dismissed. Bring in the next prisoner." Well, the next prisoner what they brought in had sort of an impediment in his talk, and the way he stuttered just beat all. The judge said, "Prisoner, what is your name?" And the prisoner said, "Judge, your honor, my name is." The judge said, "Never mind, that'll do. Officer, what is this prisoner charged with?" And the officer said, "Judge, your honor, the way he talks sounds to me like he might be charged with sody water." Gosh, I got to laughing so I had to get right out of the courthouse. It sort of made me think of a lawsuit we had down home when Jim Lawson was Justice of the Peace. You see, it was like this. One spring, Cy Pettingill was going out to Missouri to be gone about a year, and he had sold off about all his things except one cow, and he didn't want to part with the cow 'cause she was a mighty good milker. So he struck a bargain with Lige Willett. Lige was to keep the cow, pasture and feed her, and generally take care on her for the milk she give. Well, finally Cy come home, and he went to Lige's place one day and said, "Well, Lige, I've come over to get my cow." And Lige said, "Come after your cow? Well, if you got any cow around here, I'll be derned if I know it." Cy said, "Well, Lige, I left my cow with you." And Lige said, "Well, that's a year ago, and she's had her head off 2 or 3 times since then." So Cy said, "Well, Lige, you've had her milk for her keep." And Lige said, "Milk be derned, she went dry 3 weeks after you left, and she ain't give any milk since. And near as I can figure it out, seems to me as how I've pastured her and fed her all this time, and she's my cow." Cy said, "No, Lige, that warn't the bargain." But Lige said, "Bargain or no bargain, I've got her, and seeing as how possession is about 9 points in the law, I'm going to keep her." So they went to law about it. All Punkin Center turned out to hear the trial. Well, after Jim Lawson had heard both sides of the case, he said, "The court is compelled, from the evidence sought forth in this case, to find for the plaintiff, the aforesaid Silas Pettingill, as again the defendant, the aforesaid Elijah Willett. We find from the evidence sought forth that the cow critter in question is a valuable critter, and worth more'n a year's pasture and keep, and therefore it is the verdict of this court that the aforesaid defendant, Elijah Willett, shall keep the cat 2 weeks longer, and then she is his'n.
End of Uncle Josh in police court.